Hi, my name's Christopher Day. I've been a court reporter for about 11 years. I also run the Stenonymous blog, dedicated to court reporting and captioning industry news. Today, I get the privilege of sitting down with Marc Russo, owner of MGR Reporting, to talk a little bit about reporter treatment. So, Marc, I hear you make great records. Can you tell the audience how long you've been at it?
Yeah, hey Chris. Thanks for having me. I've been doing this since about 1998. Went to school. Back then it was called Career Institute, or I think actually Steno type Academy over there downtown Manhattan. Um, I went right into freelance, working with some of the usual suspects, Diamond Reporting, Next Gen. I remember Star Reporting was like a small firm where, I learned a lot of stuff. Went to school, still work a part-time job. I actually, if I'm right, I was working at Domino's Pizza while I was going to school. Go to school during the day, and then I think like 4 to 12 shift working there just to earn some money. Um, then when I graduated, went into freelance, and fast forward to let's say in about 2006, I started working for a small agency, Roy Allen and Associates. Me and the owner kind of saw eye to eye. He was at kind of the end of his career, so we got together and we made a deal to buy his business, which I did. Um, Kept some of his clients and then expanded as much as I could, bringing us fast forward to say 2014, where I kind of did a rebranding to MGR, which is M is for my name, G is for my daughter Gabriella, and R is Russo. So there is MGR Reporting. And been building a client base since then, and just chugging along.
Wow, that's really cool. I never knew that G was for your daughter. So when did you buy that business from the gentleman?
It was around 2000. I think I worked for him from 2003, 4, and 5. One thing I did forget to mention while my other job I had was it was about 2, 3 years I worked at Noon & Pratt, which was a very highly regarded agency doing like real time and a lot of heavy hitter reporters, including the famous Dominic Terzi. Was working there with his wife. I was, I forgot what my official title was, but I was doing a lot of copying, transcripts, exhibits, and I would even back then, if you can imagine, technology was a bit like dinosaurish, I guess you could say. We actually had to go to the law firm and suck out the 3.5 inch floppy disk from the reporter and hightail it back to the office to give it to the scopist, which was like they were using Premiere Power. So just to give you an idea of, we're not talking like 60 years ago, we're talking about 20, 24 years ago, but like that's how they did it. But I got to meet
Oh,
him and share some stories and stuff like that, and that was a pretty cool job.
yeah, it sounds really cool. It's funny because I've spoken with Dominic Terzi many times, and he's just for the benefit of our audience, that's the founder of the Gallery of Shorthand, and it sounds like you've just got a rich history of protecting the record, 20 over 2 decades. Wow. But it brings me back a little bit to the first time I got to work with you, right at the end of my freelance career as a deposition reporter. And I actually saw you as very generous, somebody who really cares about the work that we do and how we do it.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I mean, up to this date, I'm still a working reporter, so CEO, working reporter. My firm is has stated that it's growing customers, but still staying at the same level from customers to reporters. So I do remember I was getting mentored in school, so as long as I'm at the helm still, that there's just no way around when you're working with reporters to know how valuable they are and to take the time, especially the ones that are just starting out, because right in the beginning it's totally important what their experience is, and it's our field is unique, but it's I guess you could say it's a little bizarre because it's just you and the record, and there might not be a lot of collaboration, maybe online, but so the work that you take and the interaction with the agency, good or bad, plays a big role in what the reporter's perception is. So I always treat people with respect and don't mind taking the time to show them the ins and outs, or more specifically with transcripts. So in the beginning, when they're sending you work and you're proofing it or showing them. Nowadays, I hear a lot of different things where the agencies just say, "Give me your job, that's it, you're done. We'll take it from here," and not really giving them, for new reporters now, but even experienced reporters I've come across in my career, 10, 15 years, and they took a job from me, and I was looking at their work, and I was like, I was a little disappointed in. I didn't think it was up to snuff, and this person had been working many years, and I said to myself, like, I wonder why. So the only thing I can deduce from that is his work or her work was never really critiqued throughout their career. If the work's not critiqued or given feedback, good, bad, or ugly, what is the reporter supposed to think about that? I think silence is another way of saying the work's okay. And I think that probably is happening not all the time, but to
more frequently than maybe it should.
Right. I don't know what the current setups, especially with COVID now, what reporters. There's got to be some system, but
yeah, I definitely hear what you're saying about the mentoring. I know I have one acquaintance. They entered this field. They were treated very poorly. They were told they needed a scopist and a proofreader, and she was being paid basically half of what other people get paid. But it's not just pay, is it? When we talk about treatment, what other factors do you think are important with regard to the treatment of court reporters by reporting agencies?
I think first and foremost is just like taking the time to, I don't want to say get to know them, but I've had instances where like reporters are just like they're feel like they're just a number. They don't, I guess they're not treated with respect. But even a simple, phone call to the agency just to get your assignment, it seems increasingly that it's just like okay, whatever. Whoever maybe at some of these bigger agencies, the customer service or the people on the phone are not engaging with the reporter. Not that you're spending a lot of time, but there has to be some positive interaction with that. Like you said, some requirements about transcript formats that you're kind of shoving at them. If they're beginning, you need to coddle them a little bit. I've also heard stories about like the pay rate being very low, or the excuse being given, well, it's like insurance rates. This is what we have to pay you. And for a reporter, it's hard if they don't have any friends or family doing it, and maybe the school, they have no context to which to say, is this what it should be, or is it not? So, I think those are some of the factors for being treated, with respect or the right way.
Right, the importance of being treated properly, and I totally get that. It's not like the stock market where you could just pull up, oh, what's today's price. It's all very kind of word of mouth and business relationships and that sort of thing.
Right.
So, would you say that reporter treatment can even impact the quality of the work or our work?
Uh, I think the answer would be yes, but reporters, as I said before, it's a unique job. Like we're the guardian of the records. If you're doing freelance, it's also you have to consider yourself entrepreneurial because who are you answering to? You're answering to the transcript and the agency, but beyond that, whatever your aspirations are for reporting, um, to do better, to learn, to get certifications, to go into a different field, that uh, nobody is going to be whipping you to do that. It's got to come from like self motivation. So there's a lot of different motivations, wanting to get paid, making more money. So I think the reporters should always put their best foot forward to produce a good transcript. But if they're not having a good experience with the agency, then let's say they have a couple jobs in the backlog, and agency A doesn't treat them so nice, but agency B pays them like right away and they're nice. Or guess what? They would maybe do the work according to that. And it shouldn't be that way from the agencies. But yeah, definitely could affect, I guess, their workflow or priority on which jobs they're completing first, probably.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen it where if, one agency is kind of relaxed and the other is always, grilling you and not taking into account that you're a person, then it can definitely, I kind of see it. I do. I was going to ask you, what about skill level? How does that play into treatment? Sending a newbie on too tough a job, or I guess even sending a veteran on a job that's just too easy.
Yeah, you would think that the agency, would match skill level. And I've heard too many stories of, you know, beginning reporters or reporters that were working and then stopped for a while for whatever reason, having a baby or they had an injury or, um, and being put in the situation which was kind of above their head. And, uh, more people than I think is warranted, sadly to say, that have actually, without naming names, but more than both my hands of people that started the field and are not in the field anymore for a variety of reasons, whether the way they were treated. I mean, in some cases, they just weren't excited with the field anymore, but a lot of negative experiences right in the beginning, and it's really unfortunate. It's hard enough to go to the school, and the graduation rate is, what it is. It's not easy to graduate, and then I just can't imagine putting in all that effort, buying the machine and the software, and then that happens. So, um,
Right, deciding that this isn't for them. Um, so you said that, you've been at this over 2 decades. Do you see any kind of generational trends, different stuff with the millennials or the Gen Z?
yeah, I mean, a lot of things been written about the retirement cliff, or I guess we call it the baby boomers, or I mean, that's just a fact of world, time is going on, we're getting older. And millennials, Gen Z, Gen Y, yeah, I think their perceptions and desires are different than the older generation. A lot of it is, they want they like to balance work with family. They like the work to have more meaning. I mean, again, it's a rather unique job. It's not like you're working for Apple or Google and you're doing a really specific task. So yeah, I think the agency's got to be more cognizant of who those people are, and you know adjust to how they talk to them, depending on the size of the agency. With me, it's a little bit easier. Like I'm talking one-on-one with them, so you do have to keep up on the generational things about, how you talk, and trying to diagnose what they like, and not necessarily seeing them in person. But I've done a lot of Zoom calls with reporters that either they're thinking about working for me, or basically that, and they were even surprised that somebody would take the time to Zoom with them. And the conversations that I had with a couple, it's just like, it takes time. Yeah, it takes time out of my day, but um, they were very meaningful conversations, just about, yeah, working for me, but also getting their perspective on what their career has been like. And I think it's a two-way street of what we both learn from each other.
Right. It sounds like, you can kind of get a feel for who they are and what motivates them, and maybe even what jobs they'd like to take. You know, I know, I know for me, we just had a questionnaire go around, and I admitted that I enjoy taking what's referred to as calendar matters. So I definitely see the validity in finding out what different people like, because everybody's a little different. Uh, I wanted to switch up topics on you a little bit. What about the treatment of reporters and agencies by customers? Is that ever an issue?
Yeah, I mean, here at MGR, we are seeing an uptick in pro se litigants. Those are people that don't have an attorney, and this year it's gotten pretty busy. And right now, I think it's trending, but basically they don't seem to be getting a lot of answers when they call other agencies to hire court reporters. So I seem to be getting an influx from them, and all people from all walks of life, and intelligent, articulate people. It's not necessarily a money thing, but either they had attorneys, they just didn't think they were doing a good job, and um, I give them credit because they have to take a stab at it, and they're not attorneys by trade, but
So I get it. So you're saying you're actually seeing customers are being treated differently because they're pro se.
yeah, well, the perception out there, I think, from the agency's point of view, is they get a call that's usually, sorry, we don't take pro se cases, whatever that means. And a lot of these cases, I'm not sure what the reason why is, but I don't think, these people are looking for justice too, just like if you have an attorney. So it's a little bizarre because, lawyers are our customers too, and they're our clients, and we need them to thrive too. But um, I treat all those people with respect too, and I seem to be getting more calls, and some of the reporters taking the jobs. They do say it's a little unique. The jobs can be a little disjointed. I mean, by and large, the clients are nice. They're nice, they're pleasurable, but
Right, yeah. Because you have someone who's not a lawyer who's basically taking on the role of being their own lawyer, so it's not always as smooth.
exactly.
I get it. Um, what about in terms of scheduling? Do you ever feel like law offices just call up, basically on a whim?
That was a trend too. Remember last year a little bit, when COVID hit, things were a little different, but last minute calls like at 9:45 for 10 o'clock. And I don't know it's hard as an agency owner to, even for reporters or anyone, to get information about what's happening. So usually, I could speak to an agency owner too, but maybe some of the big agencies are like tremendous amount of cases, overbooking, and it's kind of spilling out into the other agencies where you're getting calls at the last minute because, a deposition is starting and there's no reporter there. And I don't think that's a good thing either that that's happening, but
Right. So it's kind of the same situation where, if the customer kind of considered the company that way and called up in advance, it would help them find reporters, no?
yeah, the more advanced, the better. But I've seen it happen all too often, even calling around for videographers. And I remember talking to this one firm. It was a crazy day where they were calling agencies, and he said, "Yeah, I got a call today too." I was like, "Oh, it's the same firm that's calling," and he was like, "Yeah, he's like, I don't want to be sloppy seconds." He's like, "Why don't you call me in the first place? I don't want to be number 20." Like he dialed 19 people. I'm like, "Hey, he's number 20." Is being a little facetious, but I say the same thing. Like call MGR first or whatever. We'll be able to provide reporters to you. So um, it's 2021, so I think we're in a pretty busy May right now, from what I'm hearing. The next 2 weeks look pretty slamming with work, so we say.
Yeah, yeah, I'm hearing that too. Our court system is actually opening back up May 24. It's bringing all its employees back, so uh, it's very interesting to see how things are shaping up and changing rapidly.
Yeah.
And you're based in New York, right?
Yes, downtown over here, 222 Broadway, and I have another office in Uniondale on Long Island.
But you're able to cover all of New York remotely right now, or?
Yeah, right now, I mean, things are still remotely, but I am getting some calls for in person over here where I rent space. We do have conference rooms if people need it, but I think that's a work in progress too, with in person or virtual. And I think only time will tell what the marketplace is going to dictate. And I've heard some stories from some principals about just recently getting in-person work in New York and having a very hard time getting covered for a variety of reasons, mainly supply and demand. The reporters just say, well, if I could continue doing virtual, I don't see a reason to do in person, which I don't think necessarily is a good, tack to take because clients need to be serviced. But, like all things, supply and demand is what will dictate, and what it'll be is anybody's guess, I guess.
Right, yeah, you're gonna treat your clients like people, and I guess it's what they want to book. Yeah, you've made a lot of good points, Mark, and I just want to thank you for taking the time to sit with me, talk about your business and client treatment, and reporter treatment. It's all been something that I've been interested in for a long time, and I think you've just made great points. I think that people need to treat each other like people, and it's an important part of every service industry, but especially ours. So again, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Chris, and hopefully, this video will shed some light about what's happening and getting the word out there. And happy to share a couple of minutes with you. Thank you.